Welcome to Module 10 of an Introduction to Video Games Creation. In this module, we're going to look at design, specifically concept design. It's a very different module from some of the other ones you're going to complete on this course. If you're interested in designing, creating, making your own video games, you may want to complete this module first. Concept design is one of my central areas of expertise. I run concept teams for Sony and Microsoft and lecture in games design in universities across the country. In this module, we're going to look at concept design. It covers the idea generation phase before we get expensive engineers and big teams involved in creating our game. There's more than one way to develop a game. You might just build it from scratch, or you might spec in advance. If you build it from scratch, you might work in Unity or Game Maker. You might just be creating levels, building scenes. You might come up with something with the new technology, like a 3D engine, like Doom. And people will say, wow, you've just got to play it to believe it. It just handles so well, it's amazing. And then later in time, when time has passed, people will have a narrative as to why it's really great and why it's really good. An alternative way of working is to create a full spec document and then take it to your development team. But the reality in most cases is that you're speccing and building and in a relationship going back and forth from the very initial stages of your project until its release. We're going to be playing with software, developing prototypes and small games in other modules. So in this module, we're going to go back up the tree all the way to the very initial stages of a spec and look at generating interesting concepts. But before we get started generating great game ideas, there's some preparation that needs to be done first. And being honest, that preparation is really all about attitude. I've listened to thousands of game ideas and pitches in my career, and these next few points are perennial problems, perennial things that always come up. I used to call it getting your game face on before you start designing. So get your notebook out and get ready to write down these few points. And point one is everything is interlinked. Processes such as design, production, marketing, pitching your idea. Too often they're seen as separate, discrete processes, but they shouldn't be. In fact, I don't think they should ever be seen as discrete processes, but as reiterative loops that are different expressions of the same thing. Your finished product. The design is the schema, the plan, the blueprint, the structure. The production is the delivery of that structure. The pitch is the expression of that product. Think of them as reiterative loops that you're doing in cycles throughout the product life cycle. And yes, the emphasis may change as you go through different periods of the product, but you will be amazed at how many people, how many producers I've met who don't want to change the schedule because they think it's finished, how many designers who won't rework something, how many members of a team don't want to talk to marketing before the game is finished. I think it's much better to work in a more open, cyclic methodology. Number two is there is no right way. On the left is Francis Ford Coppola. On the right is Mike Leigh, both film directors. But on some films, Coppola will direct his actors from a big trailer with speakers broadcasting out, giving directions. On Mike Leigh's films, he tends to have workshops and develop the scripts with the actors from their performances in a collaborative effort. Both directors have made great films. So, you might come up with great ideas walking in the park on your own. You might come up with great ideas with all of your friends together, chatting over different things. Neither is better, neither is right. Don't feel you have to go in any specific way. But there is one set of people to ignore, and that's number three. Ignore your parent. Your parents are the people that love you unconditionally, and they are the people that are not right to judge the quality of your work or the quality of your ideas. I have seen many ideas over the years from students that are terrible, and they'll defend them by saying, well, my mum liked it, and they're just not the people you should be listening to on this matter. But Number 4, do love your friends, particularly if they're fellow students, fellow people who want to make games. They'll give you better advice. They might form a team with you. Build up your social media presence so you have a platform for your work and a wider pool to do user testing from. That can be very, very useful. And number 5, and I'm aware that I'm slightly contradicting myself here, don't go solo or don't work on your own for too long or develop the idea for too long without getting feedback from people. Sometimes the worst person to develop your idea is you alone. Sometimes when a student says to me, this is my dream project, my heart sinks. If they've been working on it for months and there's some flaws in it that they really don't want to change, they should have spoken to somebody earlier. So share your ideas at the earliest opportunity. And if someone has a good way of changing it or making it better, take those ideas without having any pride. Number 6, you are the brand. And what I mean by that is you represent your game. If you're pitching to an investor, brush your hair, scrub up, don't look a mess. Years ago, I was walking into a pitching session and the artist I was working with at the time, he grabbed my hand and trimmed my nails just as we were walking into the room. I was like, what are you doing? And he said, well, you can't shake hands with dirty fingernails. And I remembered that till this very day. He's totally right. You represent your game when you're talking to people about it. Number 7, the quantum sentry. This is going to sound like a weird one, but just like light can act like a particle or it can act like a wave, it can almost like be in more than one state at once. That is what you have to do. You have to be incredibly humble. Take everybody's ideas, take their feedback. When people give you advice, listen to it, take it on board. Don't be proud, just listen. But also at the same time, you have to be incredibly bullish and determined because you'll get knocked back. People will not like your idea. They'll try and stop you from doing what you want to do. And you have to keep pushing forward to make and finish your games. So you've got to be both at the same time, both humble and both incredibly determined. And finally, number 8, beliefs. Have some beliefs, or if not beliefs, interests outside of gaming. Maybe you're a vegan, maybe you're religious, maybe you want to make the world a better place. Maybe you just want everybody to love your favorite football team. But having something you want to communicate to people or a mission that you want to complete can make your games more interesting, more riveting, and give them more meaning for when people encounter them. Here's some mission statements from companies that I admire. And that's it. And here they all are. And if you take some of these on board, you will stand a much greater chance of not falling at the first hurdle. So that's it for this first video. And in the next video, we're going to look at how to supercharge your imagination to generate greater ideas.